Welcome back. You're on Season 2, Episode 2. This is a UK Thrashers radio show. Tonight we're interviewing Hellfekted. But before that, let's play some music. Here we go. Punk or Dead. Decimator. Those guys last released an album about 30 odd years ago, but they're back with a new EP. We'll put all the details in the show notes. Next is a band that hasn't been waiting around for 30 years to release. This is Shrapnel, and this is Might of Cygnus. And that was Shrapnel, taken from their album Palace of the Insane. That is the Might of Cygnus. Next up is a new band, Devastator UK. This is their single Spiritual Warfare, taken from their upcoming album. Let's fucking hear some of that black speed metal.
Really burns with this roof. You can't stop it.
So that was Devastator, taken from their upcoming album Baptised in Blasphemy, out on July the 10th. Okay, next up is our interviewed band of the week. This is Hellfekted, and this is Fire at Will. Okay, for this week's show, we'd like to welcome Liam and Chris from Hellfekted. Hello, guys.
Hello.
Hello there.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about the band. Where did the name come from? You better name check your missing member who couldn't be asked to get out of bed for the interview. Tell us where you're from, how long you've been doing all this for.
So, where the name came from originally, how Hellfekted started was, at first it was like a couple of other friends who would try to get it off the ground. So, to begin with, it was called Obliterate. And they didn't really have that, like, that feeling of, like, you know, what we wanted. But then again, them other members, one left for uni. He was actually one of my best friends anyway. The other ones, you know, just a bunch of dickheads, so we fucked them off. So, but one of the dickheads came up with a name. It was like, we were brainstorming, like, it was Hellbound to begin with, and Infected, and then he just put Hellfekted, and we was like, right, sick, let's use this. And then that's how much Hellfekted came together. And then it was just me for a while. So I didn't know Chris. I knew Chris from school, but I didn't know him personally. Like, we just knew we'd of each other from school. So one day, you know, going out on the piss. Well, we weren't even in a metal bar anywhere. We were actually in the stands.
Hide the name of the bar we were actually in, but.
So we were obviously getting wasted, and I saw Chris, and I obviously knew him from school, so I walked up to Chris, and I was like, "Hey man, how you been? I haven't seen you for ages." And then I was like, "Do you still play bass?" And bearing in mind, Chris was with this other guy, Carl, who was in it, but obviously we'll get to that point. So I asked if they want to join the band. Carl and Chris do join the band, and we obviously start getting across from there. Chris, you want to say a bit about that, Paul?
Well, yeah, there was that little bit in between after the night out where, after I'd nursed me hangover in the morning, I thought, was it just drunk talking that he was doing last night, or was he being genuine? And I thought, well, we'd had quite a lot to drink, and it was about 2:30 in the morning by this point, so I thought, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I'll just assume that it was like drunk talking. If I meet him again, then we'll talk about it seriously. But by 8:30 that morning, I already had, so when are we sorting practice out? So I was like, oh, well, fuck it, looks like I'm in a band now, doesn't it?
So the drunk did good then.
Yeah, that was it.
And what about today's missing member? Where did you find him?
Well, Miles, I met Miles at Bloodstock the very first time, and he was a fucking mess. Like, he was wasted. I don't even know if he could speak English. I didn't even know that Miles was actually English to begin with. I thought he was obviously I thought he was foreign. Because he couldn't even speak any words of English, so I was looking at him, I was like, oh, where you from, mate? Or I was like, so one day I met Miles in Stoke at the Underground, and I was like, what are you doing down here? I thought you lived somewhere else. And it's like, no. And I was like, oh, so you can't speak English then. So we started speaking. Then I was like to Miles, I was like, at first it was just like a friendly gesture, saying, do you want to come out with us a bit more often? You seem sick, let's have a couple of beers together. And the original drummer at the time was Carl, which is obviously really good friends of me and Chris.
Yeah, my mate.
So Carl's still good with us. Like, we still, like, he comes to all the shows, supports us in every way possible. He wants to be like our little roadie, our face, our bitch. So, so he still comes up. Miles came out and knocked out. And what made us notice Miles a lot more, Miles wasn't even in the band, and we were in this place, and this girl goes up to Miles, they kind of flag, and Miles like, no, fuck off, I've just seen you spark one up, so leave me alone. And then she's having proper screaming at him, so me and Chris are just there like, shit, what do we do? We've only just properly met Miles, so we turn away, go get a beer, come back, he's making out with her. Turns out he turned around to her and said, oh, I'm in Hellfekted, by the way, this band. And then she started making out with him, got a number and everything. And then he never spoke to her again. But yeah, that's how we met Miles. And then Miles just left his band to begin with. And then I rang him because we had a falling out with Carl about something, because he's a good friend, but he didn't want to put as much into the band as we wanted, like how me and Chris did, like every day, all in. We
had different visions for what we wanted to do. Like, me and Liam want to do this full time. We want to get to the point where this is our job. Whereas
I've lost jobs as well for it.
Yeah, and Carl just wanted it to do it as like a hobby. he hasn't got the same drive in it, so we thought it's probably best if he took a step back from it all.
So how was that week? Rang up Miles, I was like, listen, mate, do you want to join a band? We weren't classing ourselves as anything. All we said was, we want to be fast, we won't be heavy. We don't want to put anything, we won't let the fans of us to actually pinpoint what we actually are, so we have an understanding. And he joined, we did a first practice, and he was like gold. We played Fire at Will. Trust me, the drum beats of Fire at Will, as if you had the old record, we probably might release it in the future just to sort of see what we began with. Obviously, no way of hate to call, but obviously we want to show how Hellfekted have progressed from here to like all the way up here, from obviously the instrumental side. But yeah, we pretty much all met on nights out. That's pretty much our little thing. We never met each other on Facebook to begin with. It was we met each other on a night out, spoke to each other, like how you would do in the olden days. You wouldn't just message someone straight up, say, do you want to join a band? You go out and find them. I think that's what's worked better for us, because it's natural.
It was a real connection, because before me and Liam met that night when he said, do you want to join a band? We'd known about each other, but we didn't know each other. Like, we both started high school in 2009, and the only time I met him properly face to face was that night.
Yeah, that's good. And I think, as you say, that is a more traditional approach to finding bandmates. Mates being the operative word, whereas a lot of people now seem to have band members that they've, they say track down and follow their YouTube channel or whatever, and say join my band because there's no. And I think that when you go beyond a certain level, that becomes really hard. If you guys go and travel together, at least you're mates first. And you can
exactly.
You can live you can live together for a couple of weeks on the road. Whereas if you don't know those people, he might be the best drummer in the world, but he's a complete annoying tosspot, and that that's a different. That's not saying that he's not an annoying tosspot as well as being your mate, but at least you've got that.
You can withstand it a bit better.
Exactly, you can tolerate the foul-smelling fucking drummer in the back of the van. On the back of that, so song content, who's the lyricist? Where do the themes come from? Kind of musically, who does what? Do you all do your own bits, or is it kind of a collaboration and a kicking things around?
It's more of a joint now. To begin with, it was some like Fire at Will was something I originally made on my own, and then I'd ask Chris to say, "Are you happy with it?" Like, I don't want to be one of them bands where it's like, "Listen, I do this. This is me," because none of us get that. Like,
Mustang pride.
So, to begin with, Chris was like, I said to Chris, "Are you fine with Fire at Will?" He loved it. Then obviously I said, "I've got Omen of the Antichrist." We went on that and both loved it. We just basically added a little bit. But Chris is obviously a unique bassist who doesn't just go off the root note. He actually builds around with, like, because of being a 3-piece, it's very useful, because obviously when Chris joined the band, I actually turned around to him, because obviously I was a bassist for 4 years in one of my old bands. But I said to him, I was like, don't be like every single bassist who you see nowadays. You just play that single note. I want you to shred it like it was a guitar. Use your bass like it was a guitar. Play more than 3 notes in 2 minutes. So obviously that gave Chris a bit of a hype. So Chris was like, fuck it, this is sick. Okay, I'm not chained to anything. I was like, listen, play what you want to play. If it sounds good, we keep it. That's our motto. If it sounds good, keep it. If it's simple, if it's not. Some of the simplest riffs are the best riffs in the world. So that's how we basically gone on.
Do you think that helps when you're only a single guitarist, having a bass player that kind of takes more of a, I guess it's rhythm role as well as the bass role in some way? Do you think that helps make it a richer sound?
Oh yeah, because it's like when I began with guitar, I was dead scared. Because being the bassist, when I was obviously with 2 guitars, you don't really hear me as much. It sort of drowns the bass out as a bit. But when obviously became as just one guitarist, I was like, well, I can't just have just a normal bassist. I was like, it just doesn't make sense. We all have to be unique in our own way. So it does help loads Chris being the bassist years, because obviously it doesn't just leave that boring. Like, it's not boring, but it doesn't just leave it very mild. It's got like, it just sounds better when there's more going on in the background.
Yeah, I try not to have predictable like sort of slow, empty bass lines. I like to try and fill as much of like sonic space up as I can with what I've got. I mean, there are times throughout our songs where I've taken the simpler approach to it purely because I think it's the best sounding one. Like Liam said, sometimes the simpler stuff is the best stuff. So there are times where I'll just hit like loads of open notes and just keep a rhythm going with Miles, but I like filling sound space up as best I can. Like when we have parts, when we're doing like slow build-ups, for example, I won't just play the note and thump along with it as it goes up. I'll try and put a bit of melody in behind it or something. I think the tone, like my tone helps a lot with the whole rhythm thing because I play like very heavily distorted. So I think that helps massively because then I'm not just, you know, the bass player like sort of thumping along with the root notes. It's building a rhythm that Liam can do leads over as well. So Liam can go into a solo. Obviously, with us only having the one guitar, we try not to build it like in the studio, for example, with certain songs. We don't record a rhythm track underneath the guitar solo because we want to have the same sound in the studio that we do on the stage. We don't want to create something that we can't replicate, basically.
Yeah, and that's what I was kind of pointing at. I think I can hear in the songs is that you say that the bass at a time takes that rhythm role and allows Liam to, you know, do whatever he needs to do and kind of, you know, do that, take those solos away. Because I think sometimes with a single guitarist, if you haven't got that, you know, your lead guy goes off and puts in some solos and the rest of it just lets it goes a bit flat. Yeah, and you've got, you know, a various speed 12-bar blues being plonked out, you know, by the bassist and a bit of drum fill, and there's not enough there to make the sound rich enough, and you don't get that with you. You know, if people didn't know, you'd think there's probably, you know, at least a 4-piece there keeping that sound going, because otherwise, you know, you don't have that emptiness of when the guitar goes off to do its thing. So, which is good.
Yeah.
So you mentioned kind of you've been in bands before. What's the other sort of band you've been in? You know, what is it? All thrash, or you've been doing a bit of death metal? You've been, you know, there's a giggle there, so I'm expecting something funny out the back of this. I want to find you.
Yeah, I'll let Lillian take that one. My story's a bit sad.
So, I was obviously the only band I actually, like the last band I properly gigged with, Slaughtered. You know, we grew up as best friends. You know, went to a thing. We sadly went our own ways. So obviously, I left Slaughtered. They're still going now, though. Obviously, they're growing in their own pace. But it was like, you know, pure thrash. It was just hit hard, and everything we did at gigs went well. So obviously, they're doing their thing now. There was a couple of bands that we used to do. Like there was a band called Vengeance that I made, but didn't go nowhere. There was a band called Eviscerate, which was groove metal, that I sort of left because I actually wasn't the singer in that. I was the guitarist, but I think I'm a little bit big-headed. I like being the front man. I like being centre of attention. So I thought I had to leave that one to make my own up, which was obviously Obliterate at the time I turned into Hellfekted. I did get asked to join a deathcore band because they just needed, and one of my friends were in it, so I thought I'd go do it. I only did 2 gigs, two like practices, and I was like, fuck this shit, I can't do this, it bores the shit out of me. Trying to think the very first band, I was a couple of friends when we were growing up, and it was called Resurrection. And the idea, it sounds stupid now, the idea was we called it Resurrection because we felt like when we were growing up, things wasn't as powerful as it is now with the music scene. So we came Resurrection to bring it back. That didn't last long either. So it's been it was a bit of a shit show to begin with. I think that's what made me grow, I would say. Because obviously I've gone through all these.
Do you think a failed band helps make a band?
100%. I generally do 100%. But a failed band always, because obviously if you fail and you still carry on, you've got the pride there. You still obviously shows that you're not giving up. And for obviously me to go through so many bands and don't get me wrong, I did have that feeling to say, you know, it has taken me to the darkest points of where someone can go, because, you know, when this is literally what you want to do in life, it's like, I used to box school to practice bass guitar, you know, practice singing. I used to, you know, not really bother with anything unless it was music, because music is what I want to do in life. I don't want to go, you know, work at Sainsbury's for the rest of my life. I don't want to like, you know, be an art teacher. I don't want to be a doctor. I want to be frontman of a band. I want to travel the world, you know, even if it's not making us thousands and thousands, but just making enough for us to live, just making us enjoy life. You know, I could turn around in the future and say, oh, I played this, I played that, I've done this, I've fucking met these people. You know, I can say that I've lived. So I wanted to always have the life of a rock star when I was growing up. And obviously it's still the same now. So I believe a failed band, although it's shit, it does sculpture a person if they carry on.
Yeah, it builds you massively. Like, it builds not just in the terms of your mental state when it comes to trying to start a band up, but like yourself as a musician as well. Because I actually only had, well, I wouldn't even call it a band really, a project. One thing before I joined Hellfekted. Hellfekted's technically my first ever band, and all it was myself and Carl, our first drummer, and one of our mutual friends, and I'm not going to mention his name because we fell out very badly and nobody likes it, so I'm going to keep names out of it. But we used to write songs and stuff together, but it was never stuff that I wanted or that Carl wanted, because I'd only just started playing bass by this point, so I'm still very new to everything, and I know how to tune my bass, that's about it. I don't know anything about music theory. Well, I mean, I still don't, but I didn't know anything about improvising, writing, nothing. So this guy sort of took the helm because he studied music like professionally, but that gave him like a sort of power complex over us. So like he thought that anything he writes is automatically better than anything I could write, purely because he studies music and I don't. And I think he, like, every time we wrote something, he always said to me to play it a certain way, which I hated. And in the end, I just snapped and said, you know what, you'd shove it. I don't want to do it. I want to play it the way I want to play it, not the way someone's telling me to play it. And I think because of that, that's sculpted me into, like, the sort of bass player I am. Sort of very, I mean, a lot of people would say all over the place, but I mean,
it's growing your balls.
Yeah, that's how I wanted it to be.
Yeah, and I
don't want to be background noise.
That goes back to that previous conversation about, you know, being in other bands. I think, you know, if all it did from being in that band was go, I don't want to be in a band with a dickhead like that, it's had a positive effect, hasn't it? You know, you've learned from it, and you move on to something, you know, bigger and better. So the recording process, obviously, I'm guessing, Chris, that was your first time in the studio. What about you, Liam? How was the studio? How did you find that experience?
So it was my second time, because the first time was with Slaughters. But obviously that was in just like a little demo. It wasn't really proper recording. So I sort of say it's my first time proper recording. So it was Miles. It wasn't as Miles, because Miles was, that's how we found out about the places, because Miles knew the guy. It's pretty sick. It is actually a really cool place, because when we went there to begin with, we were like, oh shit. I was like, where's he fucking taking us? Because it was all like these sort of industrial place, and we're just there looking like, we're going to get fucking murdered, we're going to get fucking bummed in here or something. So we're walking, and he's like, oh, it's down here. We're like, it's underground. It's like, yeah, it's underground. Miles was like, it's proper underground. I'm like, oh, you're a fucking dick, aren't you? So we go down, meet Tom. Tom is he is such a sick guy, honestly, like dead down to it, dead nice. He doesn't do as much metal, so when we were going down there, it's like, you know, you get people who go, right, I want to go with this guy because they're sick on metal. Our approach was, let's go with this guy, because obviously if Miles says he's good, you know. He what he originally did was, and still obviously does, there's like rap bands, indie music, everything so often. So we going down there, obviously metal and everything, thrash and blackened. he's sort of like, it's going to be a bit of a challenge. So for our first one, we're all getting used to it. He was throwing us ideas. We were saying we wanted like this. He was like, do you want to add this? It's like, one of the ideas he says, on Woe to the Kingdom of Blood, at the ending, there is a bit of a demonic like voice, which is like, it's like a muffled sort of voice. So if you actually turn, when we actually do get vinyls, or if there's like obviously an app on it, you can actually reverse it. It says a little message to someone. So obviously, if you ever get a chance to see it, obviously do, because it does say a message. What I say,
yeah, we won't spoil it. Go and reverse it. Do it.
Obviously,
that was his idea. But yeah, it was a really sick experience. It took 1 day to record Fire at Will and Omen of the Antichrist. And when we did the full album, we only did 3 days. So obviously, when we do the second album, it's good. Well, obviously, I've told you how long it's going to be. It's going to be a very, obviously, it's going to be about 15 songs. So obviously, gives you the idea of, obviously, if we had 8 and we did 3 days, we're probably going to spend a whole week in the underground facility. So for them 3 days was very unique, because it was like we were saying, oh, this is the next step, we're getting far now. I think the hardest part was doing it and just keep doing it over and over again, to a point of like, you have to make it solid. Like, even though we did it rough, you still have to put a layer on it. You can't just leave it fucking ground. Yeah. You've got to make it solid as fuck. Make sure it sounds good. So when I did the vocal part, we actually just did a show the day before, and I was hungover as fuck. So when I was doing my singing, I had to warm my voice up. So I did like four takes just to warm myself up, and then it was pretty much take after take after take after take. It was just like, all right, that's done, that's done, that's done, that's done, that's done. And that's how the vocals did it. Drumming, because I'll say this from Miles' part. Miles is Miles. When you come to a show, you realise Miles never has a clue. But he always remembers playing the same beat. But when we went in studio, Miles thought it was an opportunity to sort of add stuff, which was a good thing, because it sort of opened up Miles' true potential, because it was like, all right, then this is going to be on the final piece. Once this is done, we can't just go making something else up halfway through on stage. We sort of can, but obviously not as much, but this has got to be the final statement. This has got to be Woe to the Kingdom of Blood. This is what it is. So yeah, it was an experience. Let's just say that it was a really sick experience that gave us all the knowledge, the experience for the second album to know this is what we owe, this is what we do, this is going to precede us into the next one.
What about you, Chris? Anything to add to that?
Yeah, I think, well, the best part of all of it was everybody was learning while we were in there. Obviously, Miles started to come out a bit more as he wasn't just, the drummer when it comes to the studio. He was helping with arranging and putting effects in and stuff like that. So he started broadening his role a little bit. He wasn't just the drummer anymore. He was starting to do a lot more with it, which we loved, because obviously we don't want him sitting there thinking, oh, I'm just the drummer. Because a lot of when it comes to writing stuff, me and Liam do a lot of the work, and then we give it to Miles and say, right, do your own thing with it. And a lot of the time that changes the song drastically. I mean, we've got a demo of Fire at Will from the first practice we ever had, and it does not sound like the same song. So we let Miles sort of run his course with it, because we want him to have as much say in writing stuff as we do. Just because he's not writing notes doesn't mean he can't have any say in how a song works. And then it was a learning curve for me and Liam, obviously first time properly recording our own stuff. And then it was a learning curve for Tom as well, because he doesn't really do metal bands. So him learning how to cope with us I mean, Miles being Miles, the bass player that won't shut up, and then Liam's vocals blowing every single mic out.
Oh shit, yeah.
I think it was it was good for all of us. Like, everybody benefited from doing that.
You've been quite prolific with getting kind of hoodies, tees, patches, all that sort of stuff sorted. Is merch important to you? Is that kind of an important part of gigging and making yourselves known?
It's very important to us because we feel like, obviously, to begin with, we do obviously make money off shows. Like, don't get us wrong, we do obviously make the money that we need to do. But obviously there has been shows where we don't make money. We did a gig with Bangover and Thrasher Wolf in London, but because Bangover put it on, they actually put their own money into it. It was an amazing gig that we didn't mind, obviously not getting paid. But the merch is there for stuff like that does happen, because we travelled from Stoke to Nottingham to come pick me up. Obviously then we travelled all the way to London in a van we had to hire, because we started to have to hire vans, because obviously the one that Miles has got is dangerous as fuck, and we all nearly died many a time. So we've actually got a proper van now. So obviously we got to think of the van. That's obviously 60 odd quid. Then petrol money. Then we got to make sure the petrol's the same when we get back. And then, it's obviously we need petrol money and all that to go into it. But obviously our management, Liam, obviously he does perfect. He gets all that sorted for us. But merch is very important, because for us to get more merch out as quickly as possible, when these get sold, we get more merch. When they obviously get unsold, like obviously completely gone, we restock them. It's like, with obviously that's coming, we're having a load more merch. The logo colours obviously changing, which I did mention on the post. So it's not going to be green on the next one. So obviously we getting a whole different colour range, so more merch needs to go into get brought because of that. So if we do make nothing off the show, we can just go, it's alright. Sold merch anyway.
Sold 10 t-shirts and a couple of patches and still put bread on the table.
It's like, you have to look at it as like a business perspective view. It's like, people say, oh yeah, if you're in a band, you have to look at it as a hobby. It's like, that is true. You do have to look at it as like, you do need a job in the background, but at the same time, to make a business to grow, you do need money. You do, because obviously money, get more stuff, you get more merch, you can put more stuff into it.
Yeah, you're only going to get out of it what you put into it, which I think is something a lot of people don't realise nowadays. A lot of people are sort of
invest.
Yeah, from what I've seen, like speaking from other bands that I've like seen from people at work and stuff, they have the sort of attitude of, we'll just sit and play and just hope that somebody who knows somebody comes to the show. Whereas, we've got the complete opposite mindset of that. We're constantly throwing our own name out there. Every time there's a post on Facebook that mentions about bands, we're plugging ourselves in. Yeah. And you just constantly got to keep throwing your own name out there, because it's the best way to get heard. Because if you sit, we're not all Motley Crue. We're not going to have someone from Elektra Records come to one of our local gigs and then sign us the next day. It's not going to happen. You've got to get yourself out there, put yourself in, because a lot of people, I think, admire that more because they can see how much you want it and how hard you'd be willing to work.
It's not just that though, but Pins and Knuckles have a saying, you actually do get it, and it's called Merch Matters, because a stream, if one person listens to a stream, it's like 0.0000029p club thing. So it's like, it's not even a fucking penny if someone listens to your music. It's kind of revolting how the streaming services work. So obviously we put loads of people put loads of money into making something, then you put it on YouTube. Obviously with YouTube you have to do all that kind of stuff that gets on it, but because obviously we go through DistroKid, we see how much we made, and then we do have loads of people listening to our stuff, but we've not even made a tenner from the streams, because to get £10 from a stream, I think you have to make something stupid.
It's several thousand, I think.
Yeah, it's fucking thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people listen to your music. And this merch also helps, obviously, with the amount of money we make off the streaming process. It's basically at the moment, that money is not. It's not really money making. This is just to get fans. It's not to make money.
Yeah, it just pays for itself really more than anything else.
Yeah. So the streaming service is just very shit. So that's why merch is another good thing, and that's why Pins and Knuckles say merch matters, because this T-shirt will cost for your 700,000 kind of fucking streams that it would take just to get 10-20 quid.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has come down to like, that's why the scene is like sort of not quite what it used to be, in the sense of like, obviously nowadays it is so much easier to get somebody to listen to your band than it was back in like 1985 or something. But in the same sense, back in 85, if you wanted to listen to a band at home, you wanted to hear them, you left your house, you went to a gig, you listened to them, you paid your ticket fee, and then if you liked them, you bought a CD or a cassette or something afterwards. And that's what people did. Whereas nowadays, not a lot of people go for hard copies, because you can just load up Spotify or YouTube and it's right there. And that also, I think, stops them from coming to shows. Because if I got a phone call off a mate saying, oh yeah, this band are really good, but the only way I could hear them was going to a show, chances are I'm going to that show. Whereas if someone says, oh, check these out, they sound dead good, and I just click on my phone while I'm sitting on my couch, I don't need to leave the house.
Okay, so you touched on it a couple of minutes ago. Where do you sit with the whole kind of pay for likes, pay for streams sort of things? Because if Spotify and stuff doesn't pay, you know, I think we see a bit of it about. I don't know how rife it is. I don't know how many people are doing it, but you see some unbelievable amount of streams. If it doesn't make you any money, do you think there's a point in doing it? Is it searching for fans? Is it, what is there any kind of, what's your opinion on all that?
I do see it quite a lot, and I think it's a bit shit, because obviously it's like you don't have pride in what you do, and you don't believe that what you're doing is good. If you have to pay for streams, like obviously it's just a computer, no one's listening, all that, it's just a computer re-listening to it. That's what it sounds like to me. It's just a computer re-listening. It's not organic. If you have to pay for streams, so that's like us saying, oh, we want to get a stupid amount of streams. It's like you see people with so little likes, but then 100,000, 200,000 streams, and it's like, in reality, if you got that much, that's either saying people don't like your stuff and they're not liking your band, or that's saying just stop with the streaming. Because if you have a record label, and they obviously if you try and get to a record label and they are looking, because obviously record labels do check you out before anything, they go through everything, they'll check your stream, they'll check your Apple, they'll check your YouTube, and certainly they'll check your Facebook, because even though everyone does not want them to say it, Facebook is a big part of everything now. It's huge. If you don't have enough likes on Facebook, no one gives a shit, no one looks at you like that, no one goes, oh, look at them with like 700 likes, let's put them on a festival. You look at the people who go, well, look at them with 100,000 likes, because if you're having 100,000 streams, that should, out of two of them people, someone should like it. You should get at least 500 out of them, 700. You should at least get 25,000 people liking your Facebook if you are getting 100,000 streams, or 200,000, or 700,000. You should be getting a percentage of that turned into likes, because it's all a game, isn't it? Like, how you got to look at it is, so many people forget to like the bands. They just scroll past stuff. They just won't acknowledge it, but obviously we all do it. So you'll look at something, like people look at a video and they'll like it, and you won't like it. I've done it many of times. I do forget to obviously like it and show my appreciation, but people just don't think, you don't really think, oh, I need to like this. But obviously it does help a lot. But I think if you have to fake something, then faking never ends well. Record labels will look at you and say something's up here, shrug you to the side. People look at you and then start having a disliking for you, because it's like you are ashamed of your music, you are scared that you're not going to get the results that you want, so you have to fake it to become happy. You won't learn anything.
Sorry. Where's the proof in the pudding? Do you think, is it going to be when these bands kind of play live and have 4 people turn up, or because that's the reality of it, isn't it? You can, as you say, if a computer script has listened to your album a gazillion times, when you put on the next gig in Leicester, and 2 people turn up and one of them's your mum, it's going to become pretty obvious, isn't it?
Huge.
Yeah,
people are going to go, you fucking what? But if you have 10 people, you should be having, and you should be at least, if you are repping shit tons of streams, depending on how much, you should be showing that at a gig. You should be showing the percentage sort of at a gig, because obviously if you gain that many streams, people should be saying, these are fucking amazing, these are the next things going, these are the next ones to rise above. But if you've got more streams and you gain no one at gigs, then proves everything.
I think what it's come to nowadays is, with obviously everything on the internet being view and like orientated, people are too scared to be the little local band these days. Everyone wants to become the big guy straight away. I don't think it's all done purposely for them thinking that they can undercut everybody. I think it's a case of bands are too scared to only have 7 followers at one point, and they want to make it look like they've got loads, because they've got the mindset of people don't check out the little bands anymore. So they're thinking if they've got big numbers to boost it, they're more likely for people to hear them. But I think of all the things you do when you're setting up a band, the one thing you do not pay for is publicity. That's the one thing you should work at yourself, because like Liam said, if it's not organic, if it's not somebody actually listening to it, what good is it doing for you?
No, and
it depends how you pay in publicity. I think it depends how you put it in, because if you go through like a PR, obviously it's a little bit different, because obviously it's real people checking out your PR. It's real.
Paying for a bot to listen to your stuff, though.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm paying for a bot.
I don't think it holds any sort of advantage.
No, there is a difference in there. Bringing in a decent, management PR press company that makes sure that your media's ending up on the desk of, I don't know, whatever magazine people read these days, Metal Hammer, I don't know, whatever it is a very different case of thing. That's a professional job in its own right on making sure they're selecting the best of you and getting you and helping you on your social media strategy and all that sort of bullshit. But at grassroots first album level, the best people to market your band are you guys. You're the ones. I think you guys are quite good at it. You've got the band account, you've got your personal accounts that have got a link back to your band account. You engage with people on all. Liam, I know you're a whore. You're fucking on every single Facebook.
You see me fucking everywhere.
It's like, constantly getting Facebook jail.
Exactly. Yeah. What's happening with Liam today? Oh, look, he's been on 9 million sites. But no, but for the right reasons. That's you guys are. The band are the own best publicity for the band at the moment.
Yeah.
When you get to another level, then yes, you probably need some. I guess it all depends. If you're a massive tool as well, you might want a PR guy in between you and the real people as well, because if you don't know when not to be a bell end, and I think even some of the big famous guys need to realise that at times, is that there's been some pretty inappropriate statements by some fucking high profile dickheads. And I mean in music and not just the president of the US. That's cool. So and I guess that goes, real likes versus, we're not only talking streams, but real likes versus Instagram follows and all that sort of, even with the UK Thrasher site, I get all the time. I get a request. You go into your mail and you see some bloke, I can get you an extra 100,000 followers a day, and it's like, okay, why?
Yeah,
how will that help me? Piss off.
Well, me and Liam have always spoke about stuff like this. Because I've been saying since day one, because obviously you get a lot of people on the internet, they just mindlessly click a like button. They don't sort of actively follow or pay attention. They'll just mindlessly click on things. Now that's going to happen. That's the internet. That's just a sort of fact you need to accept. But I'd much rather play for 20 people that absolutely love it than for 4,000 that couldn't give a shit. I'd rather, it's like, because I want to play for people that actually want to be there to listen to it. We play for the crowds that when we go to shows run up and we've got a pit at the front and they're doing walls of death and they're headbanging and moshing and everything, and then there's always just that one guy stood at the bar. There's always one guy who has to prop up the bar whenever a local band's on. But we're not doing it for the people that are judging us and seeing if we're good. We're doing it for the people that are there to just sort of live the moment for a minute.
So, Way to the Kingdom came out on the end of March. How's that been received? Obviously, you finally got physical copies out. Mine just arrived. How's the overall reaction to the album been?
It's been hit really hard, we say. The reviews we had our 10 out of 10 the other day. We had obviously 8 out of 10 from one of the fans who obviously did a review on it. You know, we're having 9 out of 10s, 10 out of 10s, 8 out of 10s is really good. It's hit that obviously, as you know, loads of people have actually, the following that we've got in such a small amount of time is extraordinary. Hit the scene hard. The album, when that came out, it went everywhere. Everyone was loving it. When we go onto our actual people listen to, you know, here in Belgium, Portugal, USA, Canada, even Mexico, obviously everywhere. So it's literally getting around everywhere. We're getting messages from everyone saying, can you send down here? Can you do this? Can you do that? When you're next in Florida, we have one of obviously a good friend now, Julian. He is an American in Florida, and it's called, obviously, as you know, Florida Underground, and obviously they want us to play there as well. So it's not like Way to the Kingdom of Blood has not just been accepted in the UK, but it's been accepted absolutely everywhere. It's hit hard. Loads of people are listening every day. And loads of people are buying the merch, loads of people are buying the CDs. It's just blown up in seconds. It's been fucking amazing. Very surprised as well, since it's literally our very first album ever for all of us. So with it being hit so hard, it's been fucking outstanding, I would say.
You think despite COVID being a pain in the arse from a gig front, do you think it's actually been quite good from a point of people are sitting at home and listening to music and reading reviews and consuming stuff? Do you think that might have had a positive effect?
It has and it hasn't, because I feel like if we did gig more, if we were gigging, because we did have shit tons of gigs obviously up, I think it would have helped a lot better in the stance of people would have come to the gig or another band, heard us, and then gone, you know what, I'll listen to these. I see, like, if someone sees your merch, it's not like you have to force people to look at your merch, but you need a gateway to people to look at your merch. You need to say, we got this, and they go, sick. At a gig, you walk past the merch stand, your eyes just look. When you go to a gig, everyone knows you look for merch because it's appeal. Everyone wants appeal. So as soon as you go in, your eyes start wandering, and then they see that. But I think with people being at home with this COVID, it's good because obviously loads of people listen to music, and obviously everyone regrets not going to shows now, so that's also good. But I think it does have its downturns, because obviously shows do bring a lot more, and you obviously have to plug everywhere just to sort of get yourself known. When you're such a small band to begin with.
Obviously, before COVID, you were picking up a fair bit of steam. I think you'd just done Metal to the Masses, hadn't you? But you'd also got a fair few gigs lined up. That's obviously gone to shit. I guess getting back on stage is a bit of a priority.
100%. Because obviously, like I said before, we want to do it as a proper living thing. We fucking go for that many gigs. Like, we had shit tons lined up. We were gigging with a band from, I want to say Japan. I think it was Japan. Survive. Obviously, we had one in Shrewsbury, and obviously a couple of scattered around. Even some that weren't announced just yet, which is obviously annoying. So it's like, I think we went Fuel, and one of the guys there, he was like, I've seen that you're proper picking up a lot of shows, like you fucking proper going for it. And I was like, well, yeah, because going on stage is important, because it's like, you look at this day, look at the bands back before, the only thing they had was shows. They didn't have social media, they didn't have anything, you know. So you always have to remember, shows, they did loads of shows anyway, and they had shit tons of people, that's how people looked at it. So now, the more shows you do, even if it picks up 2 or 3 people, you do 30 shows, you'll always get one fan. You'll always get one fan no matter what. That's 30 people. If you get a couple of more fans, you times it by 2, times it by 3. No matter what, you'll always gain a fan from a show. So we did one show, we had like 20, 30 lives straight off the bat. So if that just kept happening day in, day out of each show, then 30 fans, 30 fans, 30 fans, you do 10 shows, that's 300 fucking fans right there. Proper, organic, natural fans who will support you. And that's why I always say, think about the fans, because the only shitty thing about this is, to progress in this business, you have to have fans. It's not about, your product. It's about if you have that creativity. If you have that creativity to bring them fans and they love you, treat them fans like family. And that's where the whole go to a gig and play that gig like you're playing in front of thousands and treat that gig like it was the last gig of your stage appearance for the rest of your time. That's how we always do it. So that's why shows are very important to us, because we always want to make sure the show is the last one. Just like Fuel was our last show. We had people crowd surfing. We even gave a couple of caps out because obviously it was amazing. We love playing Fuel in Cardiff. It's a fucking great place.
We had people about 3 times our age climbing the stage and crowd diving.
Yeah, so where I was fucking ill there in my, so my voice was not the fucking best this gig. So there was times where my voice went high, but it wasn't high in a scream voice. So I was like, oh! So it was a bit embarrassing, but no one gave two shits. Everyone still fucking mocked. Everyone. I think the astonishing part where people would jump, like the stage was probably about this big. So people just like climbing onto, like, well, not climb, but like, step onto it and then just jump onto the people and crowd surf. But I say shows are so important because you have to play like your last. Miles got smashed at one gig before. And I mean, he got that fucking pissed. He was not even playing drums to our music. I swear he was playing a different fucking song.
Yeah, he had a different song in his head while we were on stage, but, it still worked.
We still played it like it was our last show. But I believe if you play it as your last show, then it's got to be the best show.
You never know when it will be as well. That's the thing. Like,
What happens if the world explodes?
Yeah, well, what happens if, after we did a gig, the day after one of us got hit by a car and was hospitalised?
Exactly.
Anything could happen. You've got to make sure that you give it everything you've got.
But we give it an amazing show.
Last time someone hears you.
Virus, there you go. He's a good hint. We did that show like it was our last show. Turns out it was our last show for a fucking while anyway, with this fucking virus going on. But people still remember that show going, how effective was it? This woman came out and she was speaking to me and Chris. Fucking amazing woman, because she was like, I fucking love your sound. I love it how you bring the feel of the basically like she was young again, because she was one of the crowds there. She felt like she could just run into the fucking crowd, mosh with everyone, crowds there, have fun. And she loved it because not also did we make the gig like obviously amazing, we also interact with the fans there, because this gives us a chance to face to talk to people. Like, I'm all up for obviously talking on Facebook, like, don't get me wrong, I'll speak to anyone. But at the same time, speaking to someone in person is so much better than speaking to someone on text, because you get the real feel for them and you get to understand the band. Like, we have a song called Stigma that's very personal. Someone asked me about it and I told them about it. And they were like, that's strong shit, because you put your feelings into a song and you obviously your nature into a song, and people can feel it and breathe it. And I think that's the best thing about shows and why they're very important, because you can contact with the fans, bring a fucking show of a lifetime, and fucking just have fun and not always sit at home listening to someone else's music, judging them, when you can just go out and have fun.
So talking about other people's music, you've been out on the road, played a few gigs with lots of different bands, including some of the bands from across the border, some of the Scots. What bands are you into? What sort of other bands do you like playing with? Who are your favourites out there at the moment?
Yeah, we played with a couple of Scots. Yeah, that was an extremely sick show, that was. Actually, we also played with someone from Ireland, Crossfire, which Chris has actually got a patch of them.
Yeah, fucking love them. They're amazing.
But fucking, yeah, we play with loads. It's out in Infrared as well. I think I'm saying that right, aren't I? Infrared? Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, Infrared, yeah. They were sick as fuck. They were honestly quality fucking lads. Such great guys as well. Angel, just before I say that, Angel. But obviously, they're all fucking amazing. Like, it was a proper sick show. They've got a really great scene up there. But to be honest, all the scene in England's being sick. There's so many great bands coming out. we gig with Bloodshake, they're amazing as well. I do want to get a gig with Shrapnel very badly, because when they released that new album, that was fucking amazing. I did like their old stuff as well, and I still do. So obviously I do want to try and get something set up with our management and theirs if that's possible. But I think if I had to choose one band that are very close to our hearts, like as friends as well, Devastator. We did that one gig with them, fucking sick as fuck. We all just got pissed and had fun and everything. It was like a proper jam, because we were with the Jackals Backburn as well, and they were another great band. So I think there's loads of bands in the UK that are proper rising, and people just need to see them, because Devastator, astonishing. I'm going to say ourselves because I don't give two shits, but ourselves, because the reason I say ourselves is because we've done so much in a little time. We had a person say that we've done more gigs in the UK than big bands themselves.
Yeah, we're proving a point, basically.
Yeah, there's loads of small bands that are proper trying for it. And fucking Devastator, Jackal's Backbones, Infrien, Crossfire, Bloodshake, Sepulchre being one, because they're really fucking funny as fuck. They are. They sound and awesome music. I thought I nearly broke my arm in one of their pits once, and I lost my job to them, so they still owe me big time. Who else now? There's just loads of fucking bands. Obviously with the management we're on as well. Beyond Your Design, a personal favourite of mine, King Abyss. They're fucking sick as fuck. I can remember doing a gig with, not doing a gig with them, but it was like I went to one of their Metal to the Masses, and I was obviously just beginning, and I was like, listen boys, we need to get together. And then the gig we were about to do ended up getting fucking cancelled anyway, were annoying me, but they were fucking sick, and the Dead Sound guys. But there's so many bands to choose from that you can just say that these are sick, because like there's loads of bands.
Yeah, there's a real resurgence at the moment. There seems to be kind of, every time you turn around, there's another. Well, I managed to find 26 for a bloody album. Where.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
10. But I think 5-10 years ago that would have been a struggle. To get a single side down. But at the moment, there just seems to be, bands of similar age to yourselves. I'm an old fart, but you guys are kind of mid-20s, and. But even then, the old bands that have come back, a lot of bands that have, who've kind of been away for 20, even 30 years, of kind of getting back together for the one-offs and.
Hydra, is it Hydra or Hydra?
Hydra.
Hydra. Yeah, they were like fucking. They used to play back in the day, and they've only sort of like just come back recently, haven't they?
It was a one-off gig. That gig that they did was purely that one-off for Brofest. So I don't think got any plans to do anything else.
I think what really annoyed us when we first started and stuff is obviously there are loads of bands out there. There's loads, but a lot of people keep turning around and saying the live scene's dying, and it's not for lack of talent at all, because we have met so many bands that, not only do they sound good, but they're trying their absolute hearts out. They're putting everything they've got into it. And I think fans need to realise how important they actually are. Because, obviously with the big bands and stuff, when you're 1 out of 3 million, it doesn't really feel like you matter. But when you're down on our level, your fans are always important.
Do you see a difference between kind of local bands that only play local? Do you think you can work your local scene too hard? If you're a band that plays the same pub every 3 weeks on a rota, and do people then go, oh, it's fucking them again? And or is it important to work your local scene?
I'd say you do need to work your local scene, but in the same time, you need to, if you're really wanting to take it seriously, you've got to get yourself out there. Because I live in Burslem at the moment, which is where Lemmy started, and this is where Motorhead are from. And when they started, they were playing the same 4 pubs, but they were only playing to 2 people and a dog. So, and they realised the only way you could really pick up traction is to get out there. You've got to get out, travel the world, leave your stamp wherever you go. And I think a lot of people, they're either too scared to leave their hometown because, they're comfortable with where they are, or they just think it's going to be too difficult to do, because we've noted we wouldn't have got as big a following as we've got now if we'd had stayed round Stoke, because a lot of people, especially nowadays, they've got to see it with their own eyes to, you know, really understand if they like it or not. You know, because I've heard bands in the studio before and I thought, oh yeah, they're all right, but they're not like jumped out at me. And then when we've gone to a live show, it's, you know, incredible, you know, and all of a sudden I'm like top fan.
Yeah, and there's a lot of bands like that for me that I'll listen to live all day long. You know, if they're on the stage at Bloodstock, I'd, you know, hike to the other stage to do it. But give me the CD or the album, and it's a little bit like meh. You know, it's not. That's not what captures them a lot. You know, the live. It's great if you can do both, but sometimes, you know, that live venue changes the dynamics of a band completely, and you know, makes it come alive a little bit more. Yeah,
massively. Like, I mean, I know there's a lot of bands out there that do just play the same venue and they sort of become like a house band. But I think if you're doing that and you're not wanting to leave, then maybe you're just not as... It sounds like a bit of a rude dig, but like maybe you're just not as dedicated.
Yeah,
because I know, as much as we love playing our local scene, we'd love nothing more than to, you know, get over in the States and tour or something.
I think there's a bit of it is it's good when you're small to do local gigs and build your stagecraft, and, you know, if you're going to fuck up in front of a load of mates, you know everyone in the pub, and it's not such a big deal. But, you know, when you want to move on to that next level, you've got to get, you know, you've got to, however shit the van is, you've got to get in it and go and drive up to Edinburgh or Glasgow or down to London or whatever you need to do, because, you know, that's, as you say, that music's about live music, really. You know, putting out LPs, putting out vinyls, all well and good, but actually live's where it matters.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you know, that's the trade of it all, and, you know, you can't just appear on stage with all your gear. You know, you've got to do the work to get there, because people think it just gets I mean, it does get easier and easier, but that's because you will have more people to help you with it. You know, bands like Metallica and Megadeth, they don't just set up overnight. Like, you know, they have a full team helping them do stuff. They've got, you know, logistics managers sorting all the gear out, getting there, people setting the rigs up, making sure everything's spot on and perfect. And I think everyone just wants to rush to that point, but
not prepared for the legwork.
You've got to put the effort in. There isn't a single big band on this earth that started off with a crowd of thousands. Everybody's got to start from somewhere. Everyone starts in the bottom with the shit, and you've just got to prove yourself to get out of it.
Where can we find you online? Give us your plugs. Where do people want to follow you? Come and hunt you down. Buy your music. Don't fuck up the URL, Lil.
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Bandcamp. We're on Apple, Amazon, Steam, YouTube. You can pretty much find us everywhere. And even if you go on Google now and you type in Hellfekted, we'll actually come up.
Yeah, but we're working on that because it doesn't give the right labels.
It don't give the right. It fucking causes an alternative indie band. I'm like, you taking the fucking piss?
A very alternative indie.
Yeah, it's a very, very fucking alternative. The black and thrash alternative fucking part.
So what's your preferred channel? You know, where do you kind of? I know, Liam, you tend to be on Facebook most of the time. Is that the best interaction, or is?
Yeah, I say Facebook is the best. Although we're slowly, gradually working on Instagram. Twitter is just a backlash what comes off Instagram. We are actually working on to do more YouTube, and so obviously me and Chris want to do that covers, Q&As, stuff like that. So obviously we're going to work on YouTube. But yeah, the best part at the moment is Facebook, because obviously you get all the gigs, the merch, everything basically goes on Facebook first before it goes expands. Yeah,
sure. Cool. Right, other shout outs, thanks, props to the band, whatever else you want to say for the last couple of minutes, really. Just anything else you want to let people know about?
Shout out to obviously Pins and Knuckles helping us with the merch. Cram duplicates to sorting out actually CDs. All our fans obviously supporting us in this shit ass time. All the bands that are actually helping each other and not being stuck up their own arse to not help each other, so that's also a big one.
And all the bands that we've gigged with.
Yeah, all the bands that we gigged with. One special thanks to our management and Liam Barlow, because he has helped us fucking massively. Like, there's a lot of stuff that's coming up that no one knows, but fuck me, it is going to be big, and it's going to put us in the next step of Hellfekted on becoming from this small band to one obviously growing and growing and growing. And what me and Chris can say as well is this virus has helped us in one way, because me and Chris are actually working on the new album. We're not going to give any details just yet, because obviously we're working on everything, but we'll say is we've got the album name, we're getting the artwork done. You know, there's 15 songs, which is obviously me and Chris are working on fucking hard as fuck, because we're day in, day out on Skype, trying to fucking hear each other play certain riffs. There's a load of merch coming in. We've got a whole list of viewers, PRs, everything, so it's going to explode. The second album, we can say, is going to be a lot bigger than the first, and it's going to be a lot bigger for a band at our stage to be doing in such a high fucking velocity, especially for the music video that we'll all be doing, because that's going to be a really fun one when that gets sorted. I'm so going to stoke for that, because let's just say, if we can get this tank involved, it's going to be fucking sick as fuck. But yeah, shout out to all the fans, all the people that's helped us, all the supporters, and yourself, obviously, because you've been a huge supporter and obviously helped us get known.
Massively.
But yeah,
we've got the UK Thrasher badges on our denims.
Fucking yeah. So, fucking yeah, that's pretty much it, really. Everyone, can you think of anyone else, Chris?
That's pretty much everybody.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
I look forward to hearing the next stuff as it comes, and good luck, and I'll catch you at a gig real soon. Cheers, guys. Yep, so that was nearly an hour's chat with Hellfekted. Check out their album, Woe to the Kingdom of Blood, out on all the streaming channels, and of course get in touch with those guys via social media and give them some real organic likes rather than those fake follows. So next up is a band from India. The track is called Mutants Rise, and this is from their 2020 album, Merciless Strike.
Radiation dead below. Weapons mouth despair.
So that is Amorphia, and their album Merciless Strike is available on Bandcamp and all those other good places. Well worth checking out. All the way from India, fucking thrashing. Okay, last full song of the night. This is the new album, The Way To Oblivion. It's the title track from that album, and this comes from Divine Chaos.
Devising our own enslavement, perverting and twisting rules of engagement. The founders of us in a train, the flesh and the nude, and when the matter remains. Symphony comes of suffering, indifferent to the cloud misery. Proceed on the way to oblivion. Charge in the wreckage of our humanity. We bleed on the way to oblivion, as we beckon the carnage of the singularity. Desensitized and disconnected, balance version of war. This ground is hell of our treasure, waging devastation on those we abhor. Deluded control is fleeting, raising a target right for the reaping. Final hours begin to elapse, the system implodes, the surface attacks. It's a sacrificial tendencies, imprisoned on a crowd underneath. Proceed on the way to oblivion. Charge in the wreckage of our humanity. We bleed on the way to oblivion, as we beckon the carnage of the singularity. As decimation comes, the disinfection over. Appearance and conquered and marginalized by all master's process. Consume the flesh of the lust, the fuel of the mutiny.
And that's it for another episode. You've waited 6 months and now you've had 2 in a week. Please don't expect that to continue. Hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you to our guests. That was Hellfekted. Hope you enjoyed the music. See you all again soon. Stay safe, everyone.